will have its own URL. Yes or no? Na? But remembering those many URLs is practically possible? Huh? Not possible. So there should be a common microservice which takes all the requests and maps the request to other microservices by doing microservice intra-communication internally. And that special common microservice is nothing but API gateway. That special common microservice is nothing but what is there? API gateway. Comfortable, my dear R? Okay. If that is not there, guys, if project is having 100 microservices, remembering 100 URLs, fine, 50% microservice in communication. At least you have to remember 50 URL. That is also complex now. One more advantage is, since API gateway is acting as entry and exit point to get into all other microservices, the common services can be applied on this API gateway. Instead of applying security on every microservice, apply security on API gateway. Single sign-on feature on API gateway. Routing operations from API gateway. Pre and post processing logics in API. Like this, multiple things we can do are not there, guys. Multiple activities we can perform or not, guys. Come on, everyone. Everyone comfortable or not, guys? Let me open. Today, let us worry about how to deal with the API gateway. Yeah, in Spring Boot 2.x, API gateway means Joule server is there. But in 3.x, Joule is not working. Spring Cloud API gateway, Spring's own API gateway has come. Earlier, Netflix Joule. Now, Netflix Joule is outdated. In that place, Spring Cloud API gateway has come. Spring here, guys. What is the next one? 915, guys. Spring Cloud MS. 14th one. Different microservice of project run on what? Different port numbers having different URL. It is practically impossible to remember all those port numbers as URL separately. So we need single entry and exit point having what? Unique URL for all those microservices of the application. That is called what? API gateway. Gateway for all APIs or RESTful web services are what? Microservices. Are you getting my point there or not there, guys? API gateway is like customer support number linked with what? Other extension for different services. IVRS, Interactive Voice Response System. What is there? IVRS, Interactive Voice Response System. In microservice architecture or project or application, the API gateway acts as what? Mediator between UI and what? Other microservices. Front end and back end. Back end means microservices. What API gateway provides, guys? Acts as single entry and exit point of the application for all other microservices that are there in. Can perform authentication and authorization activities, guys. Come on. Provides filters for data to find out flow related to request response and error, boss. Dynamic routing to the instance of microservices. Internally uses ribbon client code, nothing but proxy client code. Array, API gateway is microservice talking to other microservices where we are routing now, boss, where we are delegating requests. That means internally microservice intra-communication is happening or not there. For that one or other client component is required or not required? Required. API gateway is also one kind of what? Microservice, which is able to call other microservices of the application or project using what? Eureka server. It itself this one. Eureka server is registering microservices for finding microservice. Eureka server itself cannot communicate with other microservice in any angle. One MS gets the details of other MS from Eureka server using one or other client code like LBC, FinClient, etc. Later uses what? REST template support to make HTTP calls from one microservice to another microservice. To make HTTP calls to what? One microservice to what? Another microservice. Everyone, Eureka server cannot communicate with the micros, cannot make HTTP calls to interact with any microservice. It's just there to register WAF, to register details of one MS so that other MS can use what? Another other MS can use what? One or other client code to find the details about what? MS. Okay, MS destination and to interact with that MS was. And also to interact with that MS are not there, guys. Say something, guys. I want reply, my dear. Come on. What is API gateway and what is use of it? What is API gateway and what is use of it? It provides single entry exit point for all microservice of the application or project. It itself acts as microservice, having ability to take what? HTTP request from client and to communicate with other microservices using what? HTTP calls through Eureka server by generating what? Ribbon client code. Nothing but internally it uses LBC, load balancer client, guys. See, guys. Total how many instances of billing MS is there? 3. How many instances of payment MS is there? 3. Come on, everyone, be active. How many instances of billing MS? 3. How many instances of payment MS? 3. All 6 instances are registered in Eureka server? Yes, no, my dear. Okay, if you want to give request to these 6 instances, 6 URLs will be there. Why 6 URLs? So same instance, no, port numbers will change, right? So total how many URLs will be there, guys? 6 URLs will be there. Agree with me? Not there. How many URLs will be there, guys? 6 URLs will be there. Are you getting my point there or not there? So when you are dealing with what? 6 URL. Yeah. 6 URLs. What will be there, guys? 6 URLs will be there. These 6 URLs, it's impossible to remember, guys. So I want to remember only one URL. That is API gateway URL or not there. So let's look at the communication, guys. Number 1, we are typing URL in the browser address bar or consumer application. But in that one, API gateway base URL is there. Plus related MS URL is there. But API gateway URL is base. After that, what MS communication you want to have, that MS related details. Since API word is there, API gateway URL word is there, it will be trapped by API gateway now, my dear. It will be trapped by API gateway or not there. After that, what next, guys? Okay, it will try to check this base URL of API gateway is linked with which MS. It is trying to match the URL or not there. Come on, linked with billing MS. Number four, okay, it has identified billing MS is the delegation MS, right? Okay, whatever code is required to communicate with the billing MS, that will be generated dynamically as a fin client or ribbon client. Number 6, that client code, dynamically generated code, contacts what? Eureka server. 6. What is 7? It will get one instance of billing MS. That is 7. What is 8? That instance comes to what? API gateway. That instance comes to whom, guys? Are you getting my point there or not there? That instance comes to whom, guys? API gateway. That is number 8. That instance comes to what? API gateway. That is number 8. What is number 9, guys? It will communicate with what? Billing MS. If necessary, billing MS interacts with what? Payment MS. Come on. Billing MS interacts with what? Payment MS. From there, result goes to whom, guys? From here, result goes to whom? API gateway. That is number 11. Number 12, that result will go to consumer application or not there. That result will definitely goes to which application? Consumer application. Once again, URL type. Since API gateway URL is there, what is there? API gateway traps and takes the request. Number 3, it will try to match the URL, guys. It will definitely try to match the URL or not there. Decides the destination MS. Necessary client code is generated. That client code contacts Eureka server, submits the instance ID and gets one less load factor instance. Okay, that will make HTTP call to communicate with the billing MS, and billing MS talks to what? Payment MS. Come on. Finally, billing MS gives to what? API gateway, and API gateway finally sends output to consumer application or not there. Finally sends output to consumer application or not there, guys. Say something, my dear. I want reply, guys. API gateway is also one MS. So registering with Eureka is possible. API gateway generates client code to interact with what? Eureka server dynamically as what? In-memory proxy class in the form of ribbon client, nothing but fin client. Interacts with Eureka server using dynamic client code to get less load factor instance. Dynamically generated client code in API gateway makes what? HTTP request to communicate with what? MS, whose instance is gathered from Eureka server. Later, it sends the received output to client as the response. It sends the received output to client as the response. Everyone getting my point there or not there? Netflix Zulie's API gateway up to 2.x version of Spring Boot. From Spring Boot 3.x, we need to use what? Spring Cloud API gateway. What is there? Spring Cloud API gateway. So it's acting as a entry and exit point for all other things are not there. Netflix Zool API GUI, Kong, HA proxy, Istio, Spring Cloud Gateway, IBM Gateway, etc. Recent versions of Spring Cloud are not giving support for what? Netflix Zool. So prefer using what? Spring Cloud 1.x, 2.x version. Use what? Netflix Zool as the API gateway. In Spring Boot 3.x version, use Spring Cloud API gateway as the this. Okay. In API gateway, we configure for microservices. We can also apply what? Security, OAuth, Okta, filters, routers, JWT. All configurations we can do are not there, guys. Because that's a common entry point, boss. Instead of applying on every microservice, we can apply on what? API gateway. That will be applied to everywhere or not there. Dispatcher servlet in Spring Boot application decks as a front controller servlet for entire web application of same application. Listen, dispatch servlet in web application is front controller. Okay, now listen. If you look at microservice architecture project, where multiple microservices are there, where multiple API gateway microservice itself look like a front controller because it is acting as what? Entry and exit point for all other microservices are not there. It is acting as what? Entry and exit point for all other microservices are not there, guys. Say something, my dear. I want to play, guys. API gateway and microservice architecture projects as uh, front controller project to other microservice are not there, guys. Front controller project to other microservice. API gateway itself one microservice acting as a front controller MS for other microservice in microservice architecture are not there. Very simple, guys. How dispatch servlet is front controller in one application. For entire microservice architecture set of projects, okay. API gateway is one front controller microservice project, right, boss? Okay. Spring Cloud API gateway implementation. API gateway is special microservice that acts as entry exit point for other microservices. Netflix Zool 2.x, Cloud API gateway 3.x. In Spring Cloud, it is Spring Cloud supplied alternate for what? Netflix Joule API gateway. Limitations of Netflix Joule API gateway, guys. Tell me. Not working with the latest versions of what, guys? 5.x and Spring Boot 3.x. Somehow, it is not working with what? Latest versions. Number two, Joule API gateway is blocking gateway. What do you mean by blocking gateway? Once one thread is assigned to one request, until request processing response generation takes place, that thread is blocked for that request only, na? Which is against of what? Webflex reactive programming are not there. Which is purely against of what? Webflex and reactive programming are not there, guys. API gateway creates separate thread for every request. If huge number of requests are given, all threads in thread pools are belonging to what? API gateway are over. Then new request has to wait for new thread. That means the services to new request will be blocked until the thread is assigned. That is a problem or not there. Does not support long-lived connections. Supports maximum servlet 3.x environment internally. To overcome all the problems of Netflix Zool, we have to think about going for what, guys? Spring Cloud API Gateway. What is there? Spring Cloud API Gateway. Spring Cloud API Gateway. Spring Cloud API Gateway is a Spring or Spring Boot supplied direct API gateway, which can be used as the entry and exit point for all the requests, responses given to all microservices of the project. What, guys? To all microservices of the project. Convinced with me, my dear? Come on. Super. For all microservices of the project. One client application, guys. Inside two microservices, right? In the middle, Spring Cloud API Gateway is there or not there? In the middle, Spring Cloud API Gateway is there or not there, guys? Do you want to have direct communication? No. What I want to have? A1 request is given. API gateway has taken it. A2 trapped and taken the request. Applies the common services. Delegates to what? Microservice. Executes the microservice. Output generated by microservice has come. Who has taken? Cloud API gateway has taken it. And finally, response goes to client application or not there. Finally, the response gone to client application or not there. Convinced with me, guys? Yeah, B1. Come on. What is there? B2. Then B3 talks to microservice. Microservice execute. Output generated. Again taken by API gateway. Finally, response goes to consumer application or not there. Tell me, it is acting as a entry and exit point for all other microservices or not there. What's the difference between front controller component and API gateway? Front controller within the application and API gateway across the multiple microservice projects. It's a front controller of microservice environment. Front controller is servlet that acts as entry and exit point for all requests and responses given to various other components of web application or what? A RESTful application. Dispatcher servlet, action servlet, faces servlet, all these things are there or not there, guys. So within the web application, special servlet is called front controller, right? API gateway is microservice application that acts as what? Acts as entry and exit point for all other microservice application of microservice architecture project. Here projects acts as what? Front controller. Here projects acts as what? Front controller. Check it out. Here so many projects are there. API gateway is acting as what? Entry and exit point for other things are not there, guys. Every MS project, including API gateway, contains one front controller servlet having ability to trap and take what request. Delegate the other one. API gateway is also one web application inside one front controller servlet. Every MS is web application or distributed application. Inside that one front controller servlet. Okay. So front controller servlet means within the application. But API gateway is one MS project acting as entry front controller for entire web application are not there. Say something, my dear. Come on. Here one microservice project is acting as what? Front controller for other microservices. Okay, guys. API gateway advantages. It acts as a non-blocking API gateway. That means always one thread available to process the request. That means here no request is blocked, no, goes to blocked mode for the reason of threads non-availability. Recollect Webflex programming? Recollect Webflex programming, guys. What I said. The thread that receives the request, handovers the request to someone in the background and becomes free to take the next request are not there. That day I have given one example. Front office, two people will be there receiving all the customers. Okay. Once customer is assigned to one or other sales executive, they immediately become free to receive the next customer are not there. That means every customer is addressed in that situation are not there. API gateway is also, it supports reactive programming, boss. It supports what? Reactive program. The taken request will be processed asynchronously through internal process by making API gateway to free to take the another request or next request are not there. By making API gateway free, by taking another request or next request are not, my dear. Come on. By making API gateway free, taking what next request, we have to think about using this one or not there. This is my front end. API gateway is having thread pool. Each request thread will be taken and that request will be given to what? Some request handler. And these threads of thread pool will become free to take the next request or not there. The threads of thread pool will become free to take the next request or not there, guys. Are you understanding my statement, guys? Yeah, this is front-end application, request, cloud API gateway, and passing to what? Micro. For each request, one thread of threadful will be taken. This thread handovers a request to request handler, becomes free to take the next request are not. Are flux programming, we discussed this point, are not there. The taken request will be processed asynchronously through internal process by making API gateway free to take next request always are not there, guys. Super. We can limit direct request going to microservices. That means we can make microservice request only through what? API gateway. Or we can stop direct request. Look at this diagram. Are we allowing direct request, guys? Cross mark. Yeah, tell me, guys. Next one. As all requests are routed through API gateway, we can apply cross-cutting concerns. What concerns? Special services like security, monitoring metrics, etc. at API gateway level itself, instead of applying on what? Every microservice. That's also another good thing are not there. Can make client application interacting with microservices through API gateway without worrying about internals, architecture, and location of the microservice instance are not there. Next, simplifies the interaction with microservice instances through what? API gateway. It definitely simplifies that process are not there, guys. Say something, my dear. Come on. Super. UI front end application. No, this is overall architecture, guys. This is overall architecture. Front end application given request. API gateway is taking the request. Come on. Number two. This API gateway is having handler mapping that will tag the request are not there. That will pass to what, guys? Predicate. Predicate says what? If URL contains this, go to this microservice. If URL contains this, go to this microservice. That is called predicate. Predicate means condition, right? Okay, next. Pre-filter. Or if you want to execute any pre-request processing logic before entering into real microservice, those logics will be placed here or not there. Then request is handed to request handler. That means API gateway becomes free to take the next request now, boss. Okay, through request handler, request onto microservice, their process, generated output, and on that what post filter is applied. Come on, post response generation logics are applied. Then again API gateway has trapped the request. Come on, and generated final response to front end application are not there. Generated final response to whom, guys? Front end application. What do you say, guys? Okay. This is the whole process that we have to focus are not there, guys. Say something, my dear. I want reply, my dear. Okay, once again, check it out. Front-end application generates the request. API gateway traps and takes the request. Passes to predicate to check where it has to go. It is mapped that this URL is mapped with what? Which microservice? That is number 3, right? Next one, pre-request processing logics are applied. Hand over the request to request handler. Come on. Hand over the request to what? Request handler. And through request handler, communication with the microservice happened or not there. Number 6, execution of microservice taken place or not there. Number 7, output came and that output is taken by whom? Post handler. That is given to what? Handler mapping. What mapping, guys? That is given to what? Handler mapping. Nothing but API gateway. Finally, what happened? The output has gone to what, guys? The output, finally, the output has gone to what? Client application. Nothing but consumer application. Convinced, guys? Okay. Building blocks of Spring Cloud API gateway. Tell me. A route. That means after taking request, where it has to go. Predicate with which when URL contains which word, request has to go to which microservice. Nothing but condition. And filter. If you want to apply any pre-request processing and post-response generation logic, then we go for filters. Applying the process of filters are not there. can go for the process of applying filters are not there, guys. Everyone getting my point there? Super. Route route predicate filter. What is there? Route predicate filter. Comfortable or not there, guys? Yeah. Route. It's a basic building block of Spring Cloud API gateways consisting what? Route ID, destination MS URI, collection of predicates and what? Filters. Collection of predicates and what? Filters, right? Route contains route ID are not there. Destination MS URI are not there. Collection of predicates and what? Filters. We can take multiple route configuration in the Spring Cloud API gateway, guys. Say something, my dear. I want reply, guys. Okay. And nothing is there, guys. API gateway tapped request. So after that, where it has to go? Where it has to go? Which MS, that MS information. On which condition it has to go, that information. Route ID, destination MS URI, and collection of predicates and filters. Predicate. It is like a Java predicate where we can specify one condition to map what? Incoming request URL with the destination MS URL. Your incoming URL mapped with what? Destination or target MS are not there. Filters. We can use these pre-filters, post-filter to modify the content of incoming request and outgoing response coming or to microservices. Taking filters is optional, guys, but option is there. Pre-filters are useful to place pre-request processing logic. Post-filters are useful to go for what? Post-response generation logic, like performance monitoring, auditing common, adding common content when request is going to microservice, pre-request processing logic, security auditing kind of. When response is generated, if you want to do performance monitoring and other adding extra content to the existing content, this kind of activities we can do by using what? Post filters concept are not there. How many ways are there to implement what? API gateway. Tell me. How many ways are there to implement what? API gateway. Two ways are there. Two ways are there to implement API gateway. Using properties configuration, guys. Number two, Java config approach. Here, all inputs and everything will be given through property file. Other one is what? You have to take configuration class there. All inputs and configuration through given should be given through Java statements are not there. By using a lot of what? Method chaining concept. Compared to this is easy now, my dear. Compared to that, this is very easy or not there. And luckily, already we have two microservices, one Eureka server. Only API gateway you have to develop. That's what I'm saying. The two microservices, what we have taken for intercommunication, that is base tool and many component concepts are not there. Yeah, this is the thought, guys. Front end application, right now my front end is what? Postman tool. Two microservices are there, but I want to access them through API gateway. I would like to access them simply through what? API gateway. Convinced with me, guys? The request given to API gateway should go to one of the two microservices based on the content in the URL. If 90901 is the API gateway port number, but because of this employee API, customer API words, first request goes to customer microservice, second request goes to what? Employee microservice. First request goes to employee microservice, second request goes to what? Customer microservice. Are you getting my point there or not there? This request should go to MS1. This request should go to MS2. Are you understanding my statement, guys? Okay, projects to develop. Eureka server project, employee REST API, customer REST API, Spring Cloud API gateway. Like this, we have multiple options, boss. Come on, everyone. Eureka server project, employee REST API, customer REST API, Spring Cloud API gateway. Eureka server already there, employee. Instead of employee, we take our cart MS. Instead of customer, I will take what? Billing MS. This may be in communication, may not be in communication, right? So this cloud API is extra or not there, guys? We can use latest version of what? Spring Boot 3.x. Okay. I'll open IDE, guys. There we try to implement this concept. Where is this? 915. Yes, guys. Circuit breaker is there, fine. Okay. Already 3 microservices are there. If you want, you can implement all concepts at once, guys. It's not. Copy this, paste it. Boot MS Pros 11. Billing MS. What is there? Provider. Billing MS provider. What is there? 11. Consumer MS. Consumer MS. Eureka server. Yeah. Eureka server cart MS this. Let's keep this one as it is, no problem. You need not to disturb anything of it, right? But I don't want to see direct communication to with them. We want communication through what? API gateway. So extra thing is API gateway. In API gateway, you have to map. If URL contains this, map to this. If URL contains this, map to this. There you have to write route predicate and what? filter. Filters are optional to place. Route and predicate information you have to place it are not there. That's why straight away we will see how to deal with that. Develop the project as Spring Cloud API Gateway. Starters. Cloud, Eureka Discovery Client, Gateway Starter. Make sure that Gateway Starter is added, not Gateway Starter MVC. By default, MVC will come, guys. That we have to change to what? Only gateway. That we have to change to only gateway. This is one headache. Okay. So, gateway start and actuator. Actuator is optional, boss. If you want, you can add it. Discovery client. Why I know discovery client? API gateway is also one microservice and it has to be registered with what? Eurekas. Add the following properties. Yeah, it is having its own name, its own port number. It is also registered with what? Eureka server. We're activating all the actuators, right? Okay, now this is routing and predicate information, guys. This is what? Routing and predicate information. Check it out. Employee service, source MS service ID. It's a port number, right? Next one, predicate. When it has to take the request. It has to take the request if URL is having what? Employee hyphen slash slash star star. Employee API what should be there. Okay. Customer service, route, and customer API slash star star. Customer API slash star star. Convinced with me, guys? Customer API slash star star. Okay, that means when customer API is there, it should go to this MS. When employee API is there, it should go to this MS. Are you getting my point there or not there, guys? Come on, guys. Right. This is the magical thing. Remaining all are normal. And after configuration, you don't believe, no need to develop anything. Only jar starters and extra configuration in property file. Already we have microservices now. We have to develop what? API gateway now or not there? Okay. File, where is this? Spring Star project. Where is this? Spring Starter project. What project, guys? Spring Starter project. Yeah, tell me here. Where is this? API gateway. What is that, my dear? API gateway. Say next. Spring Boot actuators. Where is this? Web. Spring Boot actuators. Web is not required. Okay, tell me. API gateway. Yes. API gateway is there. Dev tools to recognize the changes. Discovery client. Save finish. Billing MS, COT MS, Eureka server. Where is API gateway? Created or not created? Where is that then? Where it is gone? Yeah, here it came. PRoj11. This is my API gateway. Yes. Yeah, first thing is make it as enable discovery client. Enable discovery client. What is there, guys? Enable discovery client. Is that clear? Enable discovery client. Yeah, next one. Application dot properties. What dot properties, guys? Application dot properties. Tell me. Yeah, API gateway port number. Server dot port not 40. 9091. Some number, guys, not fixed number. Register with Eureka server. What, guys? Register with Eureka server. Yeah, Eureka dot client dot Eureka dot client dot register with Eureka. Eureka dot client dot register with Eureka. HTTP no, that is not. I think this is different, na? Okay. Service URL dot default hyphen zone. HTTP colon localhost 8761 slash Eureka. 8761 slash Eureka, guys. Are you ready with this or not there? Map the request with microservices. Map the request with microservices. Spring dot cloud dot gateway dot route of 0 dot id. Spring dot, tell me. Cloud dot, tell me. Spring dot cloud dot, come on. Gateway dot, route of 0 dot id. Okay, I am saying cart ms. Array service ID you have to give. Route of 0, no, routes of 0, no. Routes of 0. Routes of 0 dot id. Am I right? Spell is right, huh? Yeah, tell me next one. Spring dot cloud dot what is there? URI. What is that, guys? URI. Tell me, what is the URI? HTTP, tell me, MS port numbers, what? Can you tell me the port numbers of MS? Billing resources application dot property 7790. Cart MS 6677. 7790. Yeah, tell me. HTTP localhost. Yeah, tell me what is there? 7790 slash. No, there is no need of writing that. Only that base URL you have to write. Okay. Next. Predicate. What is that? Predicate means condition. Routes of 0 dot predicates of 0. Routes of 0 slash predicates of 0. 1 minute. I think I have to do one small improvisation here. In pom.xml, starter will come with having MVC word. We have to change that one without MVC or not there. Array, Cloud API Gateway not there. Actuator, AOP, web. Not this one, huh? Oh, this is cart MS. This is cart MS. That's why it is not. This is my pom.xml, guys. Actuator, gateway, gateway server up to gateway is enough. Array, somewhere I have given code na boss. Array, somewhere I have given code na boss. Down na. Pom.xml code I have given or not there. At the starting it is there. Spring Cloud API Gateway. Go to API Gateway Development. Up to gateway only you have to write na boss. Predicates of 0. Routes of 0. Next one what? Predicates of 0. 66. Cart MS is 6677. Sure. This is billing MS 7799. Cart MS is 66. This one. Okay, we'll stick to that. 6677. Yeah. What is the predicates, guys? What is the predicates here? The predicate part is path something we have to write. P capital path, come on. Okay, path customer API slash P capital path, tell me, slash. What's the global path, guys? Global path for cart MS, global path for cart MS. Yeah, cart API. What API? Cart API slash cart. Now, what is there after that? I really does not matter. 2 star means what? Multi-level matching, na? Okay. I don't think it has recognized the changes, guys. Update the event project. Update project offline this. Clean the project, guys. Here you simply what, guys? Clean the project. Arey, why these yellow marks are not going off? Deprecated. Oh, this is deprecated. Use what? Server dot webflex dot roots. Okay, fine, no problem. Will come deprecated, not deleted, na boss. Okay, fine. Okay, same thing is it seems webflex dot no instead of server dot cloud dot gateway roots is deprecated as alternate. First we try with this. Maybe in the current in this version only it is done, not in previous version. Okay, okay. Next one. Same thing I have to do for copy this, paste it. Route one. What is there? One. Again what? Route one. Route one. Yeah, tell me here what is this? Billing MS. What's this one? 77990. 779. Ah, one predicate of zero path. Ah, what billing API? What is the API? Billing API slash. I hope billing API is the global path only, na? Yeah, these are deprecated. If you want, you can change to other one. Okay, very soon we are going to change it. So we are ready with this. Mapping is done. But I'm going to access with what port number? Okay, API gateway port number. What is that? 9091. What is that, guys? 9091. Okay, Maven update. Once again, let me perform Maven update. Close all editors. What editors, guys? Close all editors. Fine. Tell me. 11. Eureka server. Next. com.ent. I change this one to what? 11. That's it, guys. Nothing else is required. Starters you have to add and you have to add those entries. Cart to MS. Where is this, guys? 11 cart to MS consumer application. Say next. Say finish. Say yes. Billing MS, guys. What is that, guys? Billing MS. API gateway already there. Let's start one by one, guys. Eureka server, right click, run as Java application. Right click, run as Java application. Next one is what, guys? Cart to MS. Billing MS, guys. Here is my Java application. Yeah, you have to write many predicates. No, if you want to map your request with every MS, you have to write. You want to map your request with the different endpoints, you have to write. No option. You don't want to write, but you want to get common URL. How you will get, ra? Questions. He's asking if 50 microservices are there, 50 routings you have to write. Definitely, na boss. Definitely you have to write, right? Array, mister, there is what? Predicate 0, predicate 2, something is there. Route 0 for one instance, route 1 for another instance, route 2 for another instance. Like this, you can change the port number or not. Mr. Shivshankar, route 0 for one port number of cart MS, route 1 for another port number of same cart MS, route 2 for another port number of same thing. So that's why they have given indexing in the routing, right? Right now I'm using route 0 for cart MS, route 1 for what? Billing MS. But multiple instances are there. Route 0, route 1 for cart MS, route 2, route 3 for what? Billing MS. As simple as it is are not there. So now I want to access everything through what? Load will be increased in gateway microservice. Why load will be increased? We are just mapping there. Mapping only load will increase. Huh? Are you really link? You are just mapping. If this come, do this. If this come, do this. How does load will increase? Waste fellows. If you write entries in POMDA property file, load will increase. I don't know why Shivshankar uses wrong concepts always. Yeah, tell me. 8761. Total how many are coming? 3. This is my API gateway one, guys. Okay, fine. 9091. That is the API gateway port number. There, what is there? Cart MS. Cart MS or Cart API? RTMS RT API na. Okay, we'll directly give what? I think context path is there. For them, context path is there or not there? I think there it seems. Cart MS, context path is there. Then what? Cart API slash cart. Okay. Directly I will give like this. What's there? Requested resource not found. Disclose one of this one. Mhm. Customer API slash report. That's good. Cart API slash cart only na boss. Anything else I missed? 1 minute. Sometime I do mistakes in this place. Check the entries properly. One or other typing mistake might have happened, guys. Gateway dot routes of ID URI predicates. Let me check in the IDE. This is API gateway. This time routes of gateway na gateways. Gateway routes of zero predicates. Here what predicates? That's good. Routes of one URI predicates. Come on. Routes of one ID, routes of one URI, routes of one predicates of zero. Everyone getting my point there or not there, guys? We have done correctly only. 1 minute. Billing MS, application dot properties, billing MS. What is there? Billing MS. I will remove this context path temporarily. Let it be. Cart MS, properties, that's the one thing. Okay, let's stop everything. Let's stop everything. Let's stop everything. Enable actuators. Okay, tell me what? What is that? Management dot endpoint dot endpoint dot web dot exposure dot include star. Web dot exposure dot include star. Include star, guys. Everyone getting my point there or not there, guys? Close all editors. This is my Eureka server, right? Right click, run on Java application. BootMsPRoj11 Eureka server. Next, cart MS. run as a Java application. Billing MS, run as a Java application. Next, API Gateway, run as a Java application. Say refresh. What happened? No instances are available. How come, guys? Still loading? Okay, maybe they're still in progress, guys. Eureka server, API gateway. Yeah, they might be still in loading, guys. Three instances have come, right? Okay. Cart API slash cart API slash tell me cart API slash problem invoking billing MS. That means going to source. Problem has come towards invoking target. Why? Because I removed global path, na? But in the coding, global path is still there, right? In MS intra communication coding, still global path is there. Where is this? Cart MS. 1 minute, I'll show one thing. Yeah, tell me next one. Billing API. What's the global path? See, I'm still using my API gateway port number only. Did you notice that? Enter key. Uh, billing API slash billa. Sure. Yeah, output is coming from billing API. But one cart API, why it is giving error? Because in cart API, the mistake I have done is cart API, let's stop it. Okay, in cart API, what is that? 11th cart API. Go to client component. In the invoking URL, I have kept what? Context path. I have, though I removed context path, I'm still continuing context path, right? Okay. If I remove me solid or not there. Array, this is for communication na boss, intra communication, right? Okay. Right click, run as a Java application. Right click, run as a Java application. But still I'm using API gateway port number only. Did you notice that? I'm using API gateway port number, but based on the predicates and routing that is configured, okay, it is going toward Eureka server, guys. Okay, API gateway, guys. API gateway slash cart API slash cart API slash cart. What's the problem, guys? Localhost 6677 cart API slash cart. Connection refused socket. Connection refused socket. Connection refused socket. Consumer MS. Oh, yes, some problem has come. 404 timestamp. No static resource. Further attempts log debug level. Problem is in running the this. 1 minute. I'll stop everything. I'll try freshly. I'll stop everything. I'll try freshly, guys. Billing API bill, guys. Yeah, it's working. Actually, it's working. Only if I have to show only source application is also invoked in that manner. I have to show only the thing is source application also invoked in that manner. PRoj11, right click, run as Java application. Run as Java application. This is my Java application, guys. This is my API gateway, guys. All the four are started. Eureka server, refresh. No instances available. Why so? Still busy loading them. Yeah, they're still loading them. One instance is ready. Two instances are ready. Three instances are ready. Click on it. Click on it. Billing API bill. See, though I am giving a API gateway port number, output is coming from CartMS or not there. Okay. No, you can involve context path. Maybe you have to write extra entries because here I have not given context path. In configuration, did I write context path? No, that's why. Next one, cart API slash cart. Enter key. See, it's now coming or not there. Sir, why two microservices? Array cart MS is talking to billing MS. So we got the output from cart MS and also from what? Billing MS. Did you notice that? That means API gateway is acting as a central point for both microservices or not. Ah, no, sir, I want to maintain context path. If you want to maintain context path, do this experiment in your computer. Go to resources, application.properties. Here you have to mention. Here also, here you have to mention what this context path, or at least you have to mention context path. Either this or this place you have to mention context path. Got it? Because if you take context path there, here also you should mention. If you don't take, don't mention. So I experimented without taking it. If you want to continue context path, okay, whatever you mention, this one. Whatever you mention it. Right, boss? Are you understanding my statement, guys? Okay. So this is about whole mechanism of what?